get down to business?
Man alive, can we get Casey Dobson in the Jaguars locker room to hype them up for this one, Hayes Carlyon?
Here we go.
Harry's ready to go, and so are we.
The Jaguars are already up 10-0 after that.
After
intro,
hearing
right?
that, yes.
10-0, the league just announced.
No question about it. Producer Casey Dobson back at 1010XL World Headquarters on the ones and twos. This is the famous Automotive and Quick Lube kickoff show brought to you by Gatorade Fast Twitch and Clearwater Irrigation. Mia O'Brien alongside Hayes Carlyon as we get you set for the Jaguars and the Colts, coming at you live at 1 p.m. right here on the Superstation from Everbank Stadium. Carlyon.
How are you?
Coming off of a big Gator win last night. Emotions, I know, because the last time...
Emotions are high.
The last time that you Gator Jaguars were coming off of a big Gator win, we know what happened here, which was a loss to the Chiefs in which the offense went MIA. The hope, of course, that won't happen on Sunday.
Yeah, I do think that this is professional football, and I think sometimes we get a little carried away with the rah-rah. But I do think it's a big key for the Jaguars today. You need to start protecting this venue. You're 0-2. With a ghastly loss to Houston the last time you played in this building. None of us count London as a home win. You got to win in that building. And today I think it's a big factor for them. I mean, I think it's to start 0-3 at Everbank Stadium, that's just unacceptable if you are really out to become one of the best teams in the league. So I think from an emotional standpoint for the Jaguars, again, these guys don't get hung up on that like you do in college, but it's got to factor in today. There's got to be an element of pride of, look, we've already dropped 2 of these games here. We cannot drop a third, particularly in the division, with the stakes as high as they are, Mia.
Let's begin with where these two teams have been. As you mentioned, the Jaguars 3-2 coming into this contest on a 2-game win streak with 2 wins across the pond in London, but 0-2 here at Everbank Stadium. The Colts, meanwhile, 3-2 as well. These are 2 teams tied for the division lead, despite the fact that the Jaguars have a 1-game advantage in the head-to-head column. The Colts, it's been interesting because last check-in, Hayes, week 1, while certainly there was promise there from a young squad in Shane Steichen's first season in Indianapolis, I did not see a scenario where week 6 both these teams would be coming in at 3-2.
It's really a credit to the Colts that they're 3-1 in their last 4. And, again, over some good opponents, the Ravens and, certainly what they did against the Titans last week. You don't often see the Titans get mauled in the trenches. You don't often see the Titans get beat up in a street fight. And that's what happened. I mean, the Colts just absolutely mauled them last week. Zach Moss had another outstanding day. That's going to be really intriguing to see the balance today between Jonathan Taylor, who's now second game back, and Zach Moss. I mean, the contract tells you that when Taylor's ready, he's the guy, but you do have a insanely hot back right now in Zach Moss, who's third in the NFL in rushing. So many elements to this Colts team. And Mia, you talked about this earlier in the week. That interior defensive line tandem for the Colts, so good.
Yeah, Grover Stewart, DeForest Buckner. We saw what they could do in week 1 against the Jaguars. DeForest Buckner obviously had a touchdown in that game, as wacky as it was and as circumstantial as it was. The reality is, Hayes, I believe they are the most underrated interior duo in the league. I also think Zaire Franklin, currently the leader in tackles, yes, even over 2-time defending leading tackler in the National Football League, Foye Oluokun. I think he's an ascending player as well that could really play a factor in this one, just like he did week 1. And that whole front 7 in general has just absolutely been dynamic for the Colts, and I think that's a real reason for their success. Put it this way, Hayes, a 23-16 win at home against the Titans last week. Derrick Henry, yes, the Derrick Henry, 43 yards on 13 carries.
Yeah, I mean, you'd take that any time you see Tennessee, you'd sign up for that. And, it speaks to – I'm surprised because Shane Steichen – offensive guy, you'd expect it maybe from a DeMeco Ryans defensive background in Houston, but it's really impressive how physical the Colts have been. They've rediscovered their offensive line mojo. This is a tough challenge today for the Jaguars. It's one the Jaguars should meet and rise above, but it's certainly, the last time we did a show here, it was almost like a foregone conclusion. We almost threw it out there like the hypothetical what if the Jaguars
I was talking
lose.
about doing paperwork for my house by the second quarter because I'm like, this will be great. Like, okay, it's an easy little in and out. And unfortunately, Hayes, especially now, 3 weeks removed, talking to players in the locker room, that's how some guys were viewing that game. They looked at it as Charleston Southern, and they played like it, and it showed in the end result.
Absolutely. And so, again, I think it's vital today. They've got to start locking down this building. It's got to be a matter of pride. And, again, I think it's got to start today. And the stakes are just too gigantic for them not to be ready to play. I understand. It's what they're going through today. No team in league history has had to do. No team in league history has had to play 2 games over in London, come home, elect not to have a bye, and then be ready to play a very physical team on both sides of the football in Indianapolis. So it's a challenge because that excuse is out there for them. We played 2 games in London, we came home, we weren't ready. That excuse is out there. They've got to block all of that out. I think they've done a good job of doing that this week. But we're not going to know that until 4:30 this afternoon.
So much hype about the first team to go overseas and play back-to-back games. Now they are the first team to have to come back and play a game the very next week, and so can they extend that win streak to 3. As mentioned, the Colts coming off of a one-touchdown a win over the Titans by a touchdown. I tried to be creative with that. That didn't work. It's 8:08 in the morning. 23-16 winners over the Titans last week. The Jaguars 25-20 winners over the Bills. Last thoughts on that one before we put a bow on it and look ahead fully to the Colts today, Hayes. Obviously, as big a statement win as you could get, and it came off of a win over the Falcons that was showing us signs of life of this offense, but obviously they put it all together against Buffalo.
And again, the thing that's so striking about that, Gardner Minshew's best talent, of all the good things he does, his best talent is when he can pop into a game unexpectedly early in it if the starter gets hurt and play at such a high level. It really speaks to his intelligence and his ability to stay so focused even when he doesn't know if he's going to get in there. That's eliminated now. He was excellent last week in filling in for Anthony Richardson, who unfortunately looks like there's a report out this morning that could be maybe even a season-ending deal for AR. But Gardner Minshew, that's his strength. You prepare for the starter all week. The starter goes down. Gardner Minshew comes in, and he plays great. That's eliminated now. The Jaguars have known all week that this is Gardner Minshew's game. I do think it's going to make him less effective today.
Yeah, I know that's something Bucky Brooks really talks about on the Jaguars Huddle Up podcast. The reality is if you look at Gardner's success in his 5+ years in the league, or 4+ years in the league now, the reality is his biggest success has come when it's the unexpected of we didn't expect him to play. Now he's playing, and he has caught us on our heels because we were expecting a different quarterback. The Jaguars, again, 25-20 winners over the Bills last week. I think for me, the biggest surprise through 5 weeks of the season, Hayes, has just been the continued development of this defense. It was not lightning in a bottle, or even last year where the first 3 weeks of the season they looked outstanding, and then there was a drop-off. We're 5 weeks into this thing, and they have been the most consistent part of this Jaguars team.
Yeah, without a doubt. It's really been a credit to Mike Caldwell, second-year coordinator, and the players, and I'm really excited to see where it can go because DeJuan Smoot, they're going to have back today. I think that's exciting. Trayvon Walker's been playing probably a little too much. He's been playing 83% of the snaps so far this season. That seems a bit high, and so I think getting Smoot back, you can bring that number down a little bit, and obviously I think Smoot's going to really eat into Chase on snaps as he should. So it'll be great having him back. And then, Devon Hamilton, that was good news this week.
Absolutely.
That he's getting a little closer, and the window's been activated. So maybe see him after the bye, which would be great. But, yes, this Jaguar defense they've given you 4 good games out of 5. And absolutely, you would take that the rest of the way.
And the hope, of course, is that if that offense continues to score at the pace that they did the last 2 weeks, Hayes, that will open up more pass rush opportunities for DeJuan Smoot, for Josh Allen, for Trayvon Walker. Trevor Lawrence last week, 25 of 37 for 315 yards and a touchdown. Believe that was his first 300-yard game of the season. The biggest takeaway for me, besides Travis Etienne, who was the real headliner in this one with 2 touchdowns, Hayes, if Calvin Ridley can haul in passes and be set up to succeed, that is when this offense, with his addition, can flow the best, and it was extremely evident last week.
It was unbelievable. The win against the Bills, to me, was so anti-Jaguars because that is a position, they haven't been in that position very often over the last 10 years where you're up against what we perceive to be an elite team in the NFL. But then to get in that 3rd and 4 situation and for Trevor to hit that ball to Calvin,
and
Calvin
man coverage,
run that route and make the play, I mean, it was unbelievable, and that aggressiveness and being that clutch in that moment. I definitely think it's something that they can absolutely build on today. Curious to see though how the Colts elect to cover Ridley, because I thought in the opener they were like, he's going to have to show us he's back. We're going to devote our attention elsewhere, and obviously Ridley had a very fast start in that game. So now I think the Colts will probably focus more of their attention on Calvin. And I'm curious if that opens up maybe a bigger day for Christian Kirk and Evan Ingram.
Yeah, 7 catches in that one did Calvin have. Only 8 catches, only 7, though, in the first half, 1 in the second half, which obviously suggests that some sort of halftime adjustment was made. What was so curious about that game, Hayes, and I remember you were in Indianapolis for this, is that we were essentially told pregame, don't expect a big game from Christian Kirk because they're going to play a ton of zone, which, is very fascinating that the Jaguars and Doug Peterson were so open about that. I think they're going to find ways to get him open today, just like they did week 2 last year when they shut out the Colts here at Everbank Stadium.
Yeah, and again, you only have 11 guys. There's only so much you can do. They're not going to want Calvin Ridley, obviously, to have the day that he had in week 1 against them. So it stands to reason that Christian's going to have more opportunities to make something happen, and he's a very dangerous player anyway, but particularly if he is going to be more of a secondary focal point for the opposition. So I think Christian Kirk today, absolutely in line for a big stat day if things go well for the Jaguars.
No Zay Jones in this one, who of course had a touchdown, a highlight reel touchdown in week 1 between these two teams. No Walker Little as well. We will hit the fairer and fairer injury report on the other side of our first break. We'll also say hello to the voice of your Jacksonville Jaguars, Frank Frangie. Deep breaths, everybody. Week 6 about to get underway. We are live at Tailgaters Parking, Growler Bar and Grill. Mia O'Brien alongside Hayes Carlion on the famous Automotive and Quick Lube Kickoff Show, brought to you by Gatorade Fast Twitch and Clearwater Irrigation. Be sure to hit us up on YouTube. The text line, Design My Lifetime Enclosures, at 641-1010. We're having some internet troubles here, but trust me, producer Casey Dobson's back at 1010XL World Headquarters, and if we can't answer your message, he will, and he is making sure we are live on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and, of course, 92.5 FM, 1010 AM, the app, worldwide right here on the Superstation. This is 1010XL, 92.5 FM.
Elevate your driving experience with Osteen Volvo Cars of Jacksonville. The Osteen Volvo team is a key piece of our community, and when it comes to cars, excellence is non-negotiable. Visit Osteen Volvo on Phillips Highway, online at osteenvolvo.com.
Hello, Jacksonville. I'm Greg McGarity, President and CEO of Gator Bowl Sports. The Tax Slayer Gator Bowl game and events have been a Jacksonville staple for more than 76 years. But we are more than just a game. We support more than 4,500 local youth annually through Gator Bowl Charities initiatives. This community impact in the football game are made possible by a membership of more than 250 corporate, Green Jacket, and junior members. Gator Bowl Sports is a perfect way for local companies and people to get involved and give back to our community. I'd love to meet you and talk to you about how you can join our team. Call me at 798-1700.
Looking for the best deal on your next set of tires? Tire Outlet never falls flat. We offer the best selection, best quality, and the best prices on tires so that you can find the right ones for your vehicle. And with over 40 years of experience, 15 locations across Florida, and a legendary price match guarantee, you can trust that your vehicle is in great hands. Our skilled technicians are ready to maintain and repair your vehicle to keep it operating its best. Tire Outlet, wholesale prices, premium service.
Tire Outlet.
Brian Wall here with Window World. You know that awesome feeling when you finally find that one place to go to that will give you a top quality product at a great price and then stand behind what they sell you? That's exactly what Window World does. Top quality, energy efficient windows at a great price that keeps more of your money in your bank account. With the absolute best guarantee in the window replacement business. That's why Window World has been the #1 window replacement company in the USA for years, selling more than 1 million windows each year for the past 8 years. That's a lot of satisfied customers, and you can be one too. Save money on installing new energy-efficient windows and save on your energy bills too. You can't lose. And if anything goes wrong with your new Window World windows ever, Window World and I will be there to make it right. Call Window World today or see them online and have them come and give you a free estimate and see why we are so proud of our products and the work we do for our customers. Call Window World or go online at windowworldneflorida.com. And thank you for your business.
Window World also offers energy-efficient doors and siding.
Can the Canes calm the storm in Coral Gables and rejoin college football's elite?
I'm JJ LaSalva, and I bring you news and notes you need to know from Miami every week on the Hurricane Report.
Brought to you by Performance Painting. Prepare, protect, preserve on 1010XL.
Something happens when you begin to believe. What seems way off in the distance gets closer.
You focus on what needs to get done, and you'll let nothing get in your way.
Next year becomes this year, and maybe next time becomes now.
A whole city will rally behind you and begin to believe too.
Because when you believe, the unbelievable can happen. We believe in justice for everyone, and we believe we're the attorneys to help people get it. Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jaguars. Jacksonville.
This is Fast Twitch, a new energy drink from Gatorade.
Fast Twitch, an energy drink from Gatorade in 6 different flavors, including strawberry watermelon, cool blue, and tropical mango. And available at your local Winn-Dixie.
Start fast with Fast Twitch, a new energy drink from Gatorade.
On-the-go energy from Gatorade. Find it at your local Winn-Dixie.
It's Raymond and Austin. We're back on All-Star Sports Radio. Celebrating their 30th year, our sportsbook and casino sponsor, BetUS.com, is offering a 125% sign-up bonus plus up to 30 risk-free bets.
It's called Bet Protect, the perfect offer for crazy plays, like the famous butt fumble. It's the GOAT of embarrassing plays.
Really, remember when you bet me you could do a live show with a GOAT as your co-host, and he face-kicked you?
Thankfully, I didn't take the under on that one.
Anyway, folks, get Bet Protect today. The industry's biggest 125% sign-up bonus plus up to 30 risk-free bets. BetUS.com, where the game begins.
Time now for a medical recap. A health and wellness tip from Jaguars head team physician Dr. Kevin Kaplan.
Your musculoskeletal system carries the body, meaning that it maintains the structure against gravity. If you want your joints to stay healthy and seek the simplest solution, the best answer is to lose weight. Don't forget, the more weight you put onto your joints, the more pressure and stress there is on your hips and knees. This translates to more pain if you're already having issues. Losing weight is the quickest way to alleviate joint pain and boost your joint health. Go Jazz.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, the official personal injury law firm of the Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville, the famous automotive tire and quick lube kickoff show. Live from Tailgaters Parking. Presented by Clearwater Irrigation and Gatorade Fast Twitch on 1010XL. The personal injury attorneys of Farah and Farah present this injury update. Farah and Farah,
Jacksonville,
the official personal injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
We're coming at you fast and furious on this fine Sunday morning in Duval County, and let's begin with the Jaguar injury report. As aforementioned, Zay Jones and Walker Little both ruled out of this contest on Friday. The Jaguars also placed rookie corner Christian Braswell on the reserve injured list with a hamstring injury. Devon Hamilton's 21-day window to return to the field was activated on Thursday. He will not play in this contest, although Hayes Carlyon, he did say he's hoping to be back before the bye. It'll be curious to see because we don't really know exactly what his condition is. All we know is that he was placed on the non-football illness list with a back injury, then placed on reserve injured. We don't really know. I know lots of you out there on the text line, on YouTube, on X, you're all asking every week. We don't know any more than you know, and aside from what Doug Peterson has said.
Yeah, and I mean, again, obviously it was something incredibly serious. Doug has publicly talked about, a PICC line having to be in, months after the diagnosis. So obviously he went through something medically very serious.
Yeah.
And, it's up to Devon Hamilton to disclose that whenever he's comfortable. But, I mean, he had such a fantastic training camp that, I mean, he is a difference maker. I mean, this isn't just getting a guy back. Like, I'm excited to get Smoot back today. Mm-hmm. And Smoot is a efficient glue guy. He's a great rotational player. But Devon Hamilton, I think, is an even bigger addition, once he's back in the fold. I wouldn't think you'll see him Thursday night at New Orleans. That'd be great to have him for the Pittsburgh game in a couple weeks. That'd be great. My guess is it's probably post-bye and for the 49ers. But, I mean, just to have him. The best thing is you're going to have Devon Hamilton because for a while there I think it looked pretty dicey. Like, will he play this year?
Right.
And
'cause it was so unknown.
Exactly. So, I mean, to have him back, and he'll have plenty of time to get, acclimated and everything by the time they get into the playoff push and seedings and when you're fighting for position in the tournament. But yeah, great news on Devon Hamilton. And it's going to be really exciting when he's back because they've got to have somebody that can collapse that pocket. He's really the only one that can.
As you mentioned, Dawuane Smoot will return, make his season debut coming off that Achilles injury this afternoon. Devin Lloyd officially listed as questionable with the broken thumb that he had surgery on 2.5 weeks ago. I talked to him in the locker room. You'll hear from him coming up. He says he's playing, so we're going to go with Devin Lloyd is playing, although he is listed officially on the injury report as questionable. Meanwhile, for the Colts, it's a bit of an offensive line shuffle once again. Braden Smith has been ruled out of this game. He is their starting left tackle. Because of that, their starting right tackle, who is a rookie, will move to left tackle and make his debut there, Blake Freeland. Meanwhile, Ryan Kelly, their Pro Bowl center, veteran guy, he is listed as questionable after not practicing on Friday with an ankle-foot injury. Everybody else for the Colts looks to be good to go. They had 3 players in concussion protocol. Mo Alley Cox passed through that concussion protocol yesterday. Bernhard Raymond and Kwity Paye have also passed through concussion protocol. But obviously, Hayes, that offensive line shuffle, golden opportunity for Trayvon Walker, for Josh Allen to get after the quarterback once again.
I think so. And again, I think the opportunities will be there today with Gardner Minshew. So I'm excited to see it. I think the Jaguars pass rush will play well today.
What does the voice of your Jaguars think? Let's pay him a visit.
Let's ring up another guest on the All-Pro Roofing phone line.
Frank Frangie joins us as he does every Sunday right here on the famous Automotive and Quick Lube Kickoff Show. Frank, after listening to that litany of injuries for both the Jags and the Colts, you can tell it's week 6, although last year I know we didn't have many injuries at this time to speak of, but obviously the battle of attrition is a thing in Jacksonville right now.
Yeah, it is, and I think that's what the NFL is. Good morning, Mia, to you and Hayes. And, yeah, I think so. But I think by and large, if you look at these two teams, they're mostly healthy. I think if you think about that for a second, it's mostly you really wish you had Walker Little, and Zay Jones has been such a good leader for your football team. But by and large, I think the team's healthy. I'm glad Smoot's coming back. And even the Colts, I can tell you this, the Colts offensive line, you were just talking about it, ma'am. We're not far removed from it being one of the best lines in football. We're certainly not far removed from Quentin Nelson and Ryan Kelly being about the best guard-center combination in football. Then they really tailed off. They were awful last year. They weren't very good to start this season. They've been better. Now, they'll miss Braden Smith, to your point, but they've been better. So I don't think if you look at everybody, Jonathan Taylor's back for them. Most of Dawuane Smoot's back for the Jags. I think mostly in terms of frontline players, key guys. There's some backups. There's some depth. I think it's given a week 6. I think it's 2 pretty healthy teams.
Frank, the Jaguars' run defense has been outstanding so far, top 5 right now in the NFL. But a big challenge today. How do you think they'll hold up against Jonathan Taylor and Zach Moss?
That's kind of the story of the game, isn't it, Hayes? Because Gardner Minshew will play. He's a good player. He will check down some. He will make plays. But the Colts are going to be as good as that running attack is. And I think it was Ian Rappaport that had a story today, if I saw it right, that Anthony Richardson might be done for the year. They may elect surgery, which means it's Gardner Minshew's team. Well, I can promise you if that's the case, then they will go how Zach Moss and Jonathan Taylor go. The key is Taylor played a little bit last week. He had 6 carries for 18 yards. But right now they're running behind Zach Moss, who's 3rd or 4th in the league in total yards rushing. So, yeah, they run the ball. I think that's the whole key. I'm like you. I wish Devon Hamilton was there. But the Jags have been good against the run. I think Devin Lloyd will play today. I think he'll start the game today. I think you'll see Chad Muma some, but I think Lloyd will be back. I think they'll play well against the run. The one thing about Gardner Minshew is he's totally different than Richardson, Hayes, as you know. He's a real quarterback. He will see the field. Everything in the playbook is now in play, which it might not have been with Anthony because he's a rookie. So you're going to have to defend the whole field, but stopping the run is first and foremost.
Frank Frangie joining us on the All-Pro Roofing Hotline. Speaking of defending the field, Frank, we talked about it week 1. The wide receiving core for the Colts, a lot of unknown with Josh Downs, a rookie. Alec Pierce didn't really do a whole heck of a lot outside of a week 6 meeting against the Jags last year. And then, of course, Michael Pittman was their one reliable guy. I kind of looked at that wide receiving core, and I remember, I think I actually asked it on this program, Hayes, would you rather have those 3 or the Texans' 3 wide receivers for the next 5 years? And pretty much everybody would say the Texans, although, Frank, certainly this Colts trio has proved something over the last few weeks, has it not?
Well, it has, Mia, and I think there's 2 things at play. Number one, I would take the Texans again. You did ask that question. I was here for it, and I still agree with you. But let me say this. I can tell you from knowing people in the Colts camp, and this is no disrespect to Anthony Richardson. Anthony's a good guy. He played down the road at Florida. He's the 4th overall pick, and he may turn out to be a terrific player on many fronts. But I can tell you, Colts receivers are excited about this right now because they know they've got a quarterback who's a more experienced guy at getting them the football. They know that if you remember the first game the Jags played there, it was a close game until the Jags took the lead, and then Anthony started missing on some throws. Hey, you and I talked about it. He was high on some throws. He was behind on some throws. Well, Minshew won't be there. Minshew's not a great player, but he's a very accurate passer. And so I think the receiving core for the Colts, Mia, that you're talking about, they've got a little more pep in their step because they know they're probably getting the ball, and they're probably getting the ball on time. They don't run. It's not a fast group. That's what they don't have that a lot of the teams have, is a guy that can stretch the defense. But I think Michael Pittman's a pretty good player now. I think he's a big physical receiver. I think that matters. So I think they'll use those receivers. They'll use all the receivers rather than just a handful. And I think the receivers with the Colts are excited about the fact that they're getting the ball on time today, which they haven't been earlier in the year.
Frank, has Trevor Lawrence found an even higher level of his production, in your opinion?
Played his best game of the year last week, Hayes. That was by far the best he's played. It's the most accurate. It's the best he saw the field. It's the most he hung in there. Yeah, Trevor's going to be very good. The touchdowns are going to come. He didn't have a lot of touchdowns, but he threw for 300 yards against a very good Bills team. It was by far, and they'll all tell you that. The team will tell you, the coaches will tell you, Trevor will tell you, it's by far the best he has played in the 5 games this season. Yeah, he's playing great, man. Of all the problems that could be a problem, of all the things that could be a problem, and Trevor's going to be just fine. Got to keep him healthy. But, boy, I'll tell you, he sure is better, Hayes, when Travis Etienne gets going. You know that? I mean, when Travis, by the way, we all keep saying we're waiting for Travis to get going. Well, he's 5th in the league in rushing yards. He's 5th in the league in total rushing yards at 396. So Trevor's been very good, but my goodness, he's even better when they can get that running game going. He really is.
I was just going to ask you, Frank, why do you think Trevor Lawrence was able to put together his most complete game of the season? Was it just solely that Etienne got the ball, the run game got going, and therefore he was able to take some, they were able to take some pressure off him? Or was it the emergence of Calvin Ridley being truly a security blanket?
I think a little of all of it, Mia, but I think the main thing, they were in a good, I was with that team last week. I was with them for 11 days. I was around them. They were in a good place last week. You could tell that team was at a good place. I think after the 1-2 start, I think getting away helped them a little bit. I think it bonded them. Trevor talked about that this week, how you're with these guys after practice, before practice. Mostly, you want to live your life and be home with your family. But if you can't be, the next best thing is to be with your boys. And I think they were. And I think that mattered. I really do. So I think they found a rhythm on many fronts, and not just Trevor playing better. I think they found a rhythm, man. They looked like a more cohesive team. They look that complementary football everybody talks about. They look like they were playing it last week. So I think I'm giving you big picture here, and I think Trevor's a big part of that. I think the other part of it is the balance. When they run the football, when you have to worry about Travis Etienne running the football, then it's way harder to defend them. And by the way, you're right. Calvin Ridley had a big game, a really big game. But I think it's everything kind of coming together, and part of that coming together was them all being together for as long as they were last week.
Frank, what kind of a haymaker can the Jaguars throw on the Colts in terms of the AFC South battle?
Yeah, you and I talked about that during the week. It's too early for anybody to win a division or get eliminated from a division. We've seen this league a lot of times. Hey, it starts at Labor Day and it ends at Valentine's Day. That's a long-ass season, man. It's a long year in the NFL. It really is. But the math does matter. I think first and foremost the math matters. I think the psychology matters. I think if you win today, and I think the Jags are going to win today, I think if you win today, then the rest of the division, 6 games in, which is essentially a third of the season, everybody's playing uphill to you. So I don't think it's not just the Colts. I think you can, and yeah, you'll sweep the Colts, so you're way ahead of them. But I think everybody's looking up at you. That's why this is such a big game. If you lose this game, well, whether you like it or not, everybody's looking up at the Colts. The Colts of all teams. The Colts who were supposed to be in this rebuild. The Colts who were beat up. The Colts who were playing this 4th overall pick at quarterback that no one was sure how good he was even going to be. If the Colts win that game today, Hayes, everybody's looking up at the Indianapolis Colts. Again, it's only 6 games in, but nobody expected that. Everybody expected the Jags to win the division, and still do. And if not, the Titans because of their toughness, and even the Texans who got off to a good start. Yet despite all of that, if the Colts win today, we're all looking up at Indianapolis. That's what nobody wants. This is a very, very important game for that reason. And yes, you get a little bit of a hold on the Colts because you will have not only be ahead of them, but you'll have beaten them twice. This is a big game, man. This is a big game for the Jags today.
A couple more for Frank Frangie on the All-Pro Roofing Hotline. Frank, I feel like I don't want to call it the elephant in the room because I also feel like in many regards it's kind of a lazy excuse for why the Jaguars offense struggled the first few weeks of the season. But the offensive line. Obviously, we know Walker Little is out of this game after just a drive and a half at the left guard position this season. Tyler Shatley will step in for him again. Has the offensive line been that bad, or has this been solely situational when the pocket collapses or when the run game struggles to get going in the first half?
No, I mean, I think it's a fair question. I think they've struggled. I don't want to sugarcoat it. And look, nothing's only one unit's fault. Okay, if a team wins as a team and loses as a team, as cliche as that sounds, it's true. But I think the line struggled. I think the three interior guys have struggled. Ben Barch, who was battling so hard and trying so hard, really wasn't playing very well. He was just having a tough time coming back from an injury. He's still a young guy. I still believe Ben Barch will be a good player in the National Football League. I really do. But he wasn't playing very well. I think that was the thing that everybody noticed. Luke Fortner's been okay. Brandon Sheriff's been good, not great. So the middle three, Mia, have struggled. Now, for one drive last week, all of one drive, we got to see Cam Robinson left tackle and Walker Little left guard, which I hope in a few weeks we see again, and we're going to see again. I think that really solidifies the left side of the line. I really believe that. But until you get that, it's struggling a little bit. I'll say this. Tyler Shatley, everybody wants to move on from Tyler, and he's old, and he's a backup, and he's not very tall, and his arms aren't very long. That's one tough hombre, man. Remember, he was the left guard all down the stretch last year, and, man, he makes them better. He's just a tough-nosed guy, and this is a great game for him because DeForest Buckner and Grover Stewart are big, physical presence, and that's what he is. He's a big, strong guy, Tyler is. So it's played better with Tyler Shatley in there. But to your original question, yeah, it struggled a little bit. I think Anton Harrison's going to be good, but he's having some rookie hiccups, which rookies have. So the line has been a struggle. It really has been a struggle. Played a little bit better. Cam Robinson has played pretty well last week. He had some bad moments, but he played pretty well. So it's going to get better, but it has been a struggle.
Frank, what do you think we'll see out of Josh Allen and Trayvon Walker today?
You know, I think you made a point earlier, I think before I came on, that there will be some opportunities with Gardner in there. Gardner gets a little happy feet from time to time. Gardner holds the ball. So I think you'll have a chance to get some sacks. I think they'll affect the pocket. And I really am interested in seeing what happens with Smoot. Two things with Smoot. Number one, he is the third best edge pass rusher on the team. The reality is that Kayvon Chason has not made much of an impact, and Yasir Abdullah the game's pretty fast for him right now. I wouldn't be surprised if it's a while before you see him make much of an impact. So DeJuan Smoot is the third guy. There's no debating that. He is the third guy. The other thing, Hayes, is DeJuan gives you energy, man. You know, you're in the locker room with him all the time. Mia, you're in there. He's an energy guy. Guys love having him around. Every team, any sports team, whatever the sport is, you love having that energy guy around. He's smiling all the time. Everybody's enthusiastic when he's around. Well, DeJuan's that guy. And it's even that more now because he's been waiting to play. He's been dying to get out there. So I think to your question, I think both outside linebackers will be a factor. I think DeJuan Smoot's going to be a factor in the game today. I really believe that.
All right, Frank, as I do each and every week, since we won't ask you for a score prediction, give me an X factor on the Jaguars side of the ball as well as the Colts, please.
I'll give you Evan Ingram for the Jaguars. I think Evan Ingram it's time. I think it's time now for him. I think he's going to work the middle of that field. I think that's where you're going to have to attack the Colts. I don't think you're going to be able to run on the Colts as well as you can some other teams because they're so good in the middle. So if you want an X factor for me, I think Evan Ingram. I bet he catches a bunch of balls today. So I'll put me down for him. On the Colts, I'm going to go a defensive guy, Mia. And you remember the first game. That first game of the year, Zaire Franklin played so well. Hayes, I think you were at that game, the opener against Indianapolis. Zaire Franklin, their middle linebacker, is playing at such a level. If the Colts beat the Jaguars today, he's going to have double-digit tackles. He's going to have a tackle for a loss. He might even have a caused fumble. I hope none of that happens. But he's playing as well as any middle linebacker. You know, Shaq Leonard gets all the attention, the weak side guy. But Zaire Franklin right now is the better player. And he's playing at such a level for the Colts. He's blowing up running plays. If the Colts win, he's going to have one of those big games, 44. If the Jags win, and I think they're going to, I think you're going to see a lot of Evan Ingram. That's my guess. See, Mia, finally I'm prepared for that question. It only took me a year and a half to start preparing for that question. So now I was prepared for it this time.
Hey, listen, that's all I can ask for. I'm prepared, too, if you're watching on the YouTube live stream.
You just got blindsided.
Yeah, we just had the step and repeat just fell on me. But
Come on, Cam Robinson.
Our head is on a swivel. We are ready for whatever the wind blows at us on this fine Sunday. Frank Frangie, thanks so much for stopping by.
Okay, talk to you guys soon. Thanks.
There he goes, Frank Frangie. Again, will be on the call coming up 1 p.m. kickoff. He will be on the call with the Hall of Famer Tony Baselli, Jeff Lageman, and, of course, Bucky Brooks.
We're not going to have to put you in protocol, are we?
No,
okay?
Thankfully, once upon a time, former Jaguar Alan Lazard with the concussion.
Yeah.
I think a couple people that have listened to
I'm
10-10
gonna
have
move
heard.
I'm not sure
they know I'm prepared to be hit from
Yeah.
behind after that concussion
Just
protocol.
like audio, that also was recorded.
Fantastic. Hey, listen, that's all we can ask for, which I'm making sure, too, by the way.
You hung in the pocket.
Yeah.
You protected the ball.
Exactly.
You
I'll take a hit. That's all right. It's got to get the throw off. But, yes, making sure, producer Casey Dobson, that we are properly labeled on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube so that you guys can tune in wherever you are in the world. All right, still a lot to do on the famous Automotive and Quick Lube Kickoff Show, brought to you by Fast Twitch Gatorade and Clearwater Irrigation. When we come back, we will hit our keys to the game and also head into the locker room as, speaking of, Hayes Carlion caught up with Evan Ingram. A lot to do right here on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
What's the deal with the show? The 1010XL Podcast Network is now available just about everywhere you find podcasts.
I mean, I think the show's going to be a huge hit.
Search for your favorite 1010XL podcast in your platform of choice.
I'm here with Clayton Bromberg of Underwoods. Clayton, you have told us about the importance of cutting a diamond properly and about color and weight. But how do you judge the clarity of a diamond?
Frank, that's a good question that has a very specific answer. Diamonds are graded at 10-power magnification using a binocular microscope. But when you're shopping for diamonds, a lot of times a sales clerk will just hand you a magnifying glass called a jeweler's loupe and have you look into the diamond. While an expert knows how to do this, it's kind of tough on a novice because they don't know how to create the same dark field illumination that a binocular microscope gives. As a result, the customer may or may not be able to see anything. That's why at Underwoods we set the clarity grade of a diamond with a binocular microscope. We have these instruments in every store and invite our customers to examine the diamond underneath them. We can show you the microscopic inclusions that affect the rarity and value of a diamond. So if you're shopping for fine quality diamonds and want the facts, come see us at Underwoods.
That's Underwood Jewelers in San Marco, in Avondale, or the shops of Ponte Vedra.
Brackish Vodka, a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars, is the smoothest local vodka you can find. Made right here in Jacksonville, Florida, 100% from corn, Brackish Vodka is the local gluten-free choice. Brackish Vodka, for those that live life slightly salty, a proud partner of the Jaguars. Enjoy a Duval Donkey and shoot some stick at 9 Ball Heaven Sports Grill and Billiards on University Boulevard.
Folks, the First Coast has voted. Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute is proud to be chosen as Bold City's best in 4 categories: Best Orthopedic Practice, Physical Therapy, Pain Management, and Foot Care Clinic. For the last 30 years, JOI has continually strived for the highest level of orthopedic surgery and rehab care. As the needs of the community evolve, so will they. That's why coaches, parents, and athletes choose JOI. Call them at JOI 2000 or visit JOI.net. JOI, where the pros go.
Hey guys, this is David Garrard, and I want to tell you about Clearwater Irrigation. They put my new sprinkler system in my new home at Jack's Beach, and I couldn't be happier. Oh, hey, John.
What's up, Dave? You know what this means. You're going to have to sing.
Man, I can't sing.
Then you'll fit right in, buddy. Clearwater Irrigation. We can't sing a lick, but we sure are good at sprinklers. Hit it, Dave.
And drainage, too.
ClearwaterJacks.com.
I'm Hacker, and I'll get you ready for Billy Napier's second season on the Florida sideline during the Gator Bites podcast. Presented by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists, with new episodes dropping every Wednesday. Get Gator Bites where you find podcasts.
Hey, Jags fans, are you tired of roof leaks raining on your parade? Don't worry, Universal Roof and Contracting has got you covered. Their expert team of roofers will get your roof back in the game so you can focus on